Hello and welcome back. So here we are now in your third video of Module 1. I hope that you got on well with your core values action statement, and we're now going to move into the third video. The theme of this one is seeing with fresh eyes. And to get us started, I'd like you to take a moment or two to consider innovation in the world around you. And I might ask that you think back your past couple of days or week or so, if you've been out and about wherever it is that you live, and think about what you've seen that you would consider to be innovative. So thinking about your past few days, things that maybe you've come across while you're out and about, what have you seen that you would consider to be innovative? And you can just take a few seconds there to reflect on that. And you might be thinking of things around transport, things around technology. But I would be surprised if anybody, in trying to think of things that you've seen recently that are innovative, I'd be surprised if anybody of you included the phone booth on your list of innovative things. I'm guessing not. I think nowadays they're being phased out. And I think that the ones that are left are used for anything and everything but making phone calls. Although I did recently enough actually see somebody making a phone call from one, but it's because it was a really rainy day, so they were taking shelter from the bad weather and they were in there on their cell phone. So a little bit ironic seeing that. But back in the 1920s, when they were first introduced, it was said that if this experiment succeeds, many more kiosks will be erected in various parts of the city. So this was about 100 years ago. And you can see these gentlemen installing the phone booths there. They probably would have no idea 100 years later that, not only would there be have been maybe a phone booth on every street corner, but now everybody has one phone. Some people even have two. They're used for so many different things. So I'd say they just wouldn't even be able to believe it were they to be transported 100 years into the future. And this is leading us now into what your task is going to be. And again, the theme is seeing with fresh eyes. And this is inspired by something that I saw going on in Dublin. Gosh, it must be about 15 years or so ago now. And different groups of artists and creatives and designers were each given a phone booth, blank phone booth, empty phone booth, and asked to do something more with it, somehow add value to it, to make it more innovative, more creative, something different. And you can see there, this is one on Thomas Street that was just about to be launched. So one of these groups, a group of designers, tried to make their phone booth invisible. They called their project the Invisible Phone Booth. They tried to make it blend into the background there on Nassau Street, and perhaps a little bit of a commentary on the fact that nowadays many of us just walk past a phone booth without thinking twice about it. Another group of artists was given the phone booth at College Green there, and they turned theirs into a little mini library and place to stop and rest. So in each of those wooden slots were different books and magazines that people could take out, sit down there on the bench, and have a little bit of a break away from the busyness of the city around them. Different project, but kind of similar idea over in England. People were turning the kind of famous red phone booths into book exchanges. So take a book, leave a book. Really nice use of the phone booths there. And further afield in Japan, this is my favorite one I've seen, they turned a phone booth into a fish tank. Those are real live goldfish swimming around in there. So those are just little snippets of inspiration for you and for this task, in which I'm going to ask you to come up with a creative use for a phone box. To come up with a creative use for a phone box. Now, what I'd like you to do to start is to brainstorm as many different uses for a phone box as you can. We talk about going for volume. This is idea generation. There are no wrong ideas. I'd like you to see, can you come up with 15, 20, maybe even 30 different ideas? Anything and everything is fine. Once you've come up with a nice list, and perhaps actually I should say that if you want to engage your family, your friends, housemates in this, you're most welcome to have some others join in with you on this, on the creative fun. Once you've got a nice big long list, I'd like you to select one of those ideas, whichever you think is the most wild, wacky, weird, or wonderful. Once you've got that, show us. I'd like you to make a prototype of some sort. So a prototype is some way of visualizing, of showcasing your idea. So it could be a sketch, a napkin sketch, kind of simple pen, paper, markers, whatever. You might also like to get out some of the art supplies, maybe some cardboard, glue, glitter, colorful paper, markers, and whatever bits and pieces you have lying around the house. If you think your idea might lend itself to that kind of very physical prototype. But whatever it is, I'd like something that can be shown. So you are to first begin by coming up with as many different uses for a phone box as you can. Again, no limits. I don't want you thinking about, could it happen? Is it realistic? Nothing like that. Just go for it. Select one of those ideas, again, whichever you think is your most wild, wacky, weird, or wonderful, and then make a prototype of it. Show it, showcase it, whether it's a drawing, whether it's a physical contraption, some sort of creation. It doesn't have to be life size, of course, but some way of showing what your idea is all about. And I think once you've done that, you can share that with your fellow course participants, maybe over on Docen. Good luck and enjoy.